So we will play a game, and I've said a game because it's really a game. Sometimes when we do this game, someone says, "Well, you talk about identity. Is it in the sense of Giddens or in the sense of Engelhardt?" It's a game. Just relax. It's a game. There is no need to just narrow down the concept. And we're going to do it's like if you see these four posters in the walls, we've been more or less divided the room in four quadrants, just like these ones. This one is this quadrant, that one is this place, and the two on the bottom are those two. I will ask you to please vote with your feet in any of the different couple of questions that we have. So, no time, coincidence, and no need to plan ahead. Yes, need to plan, but no need to be in the same time. Some people in there are no right and bad answers. It's just your feeling. Just you show that we can define millennials in a very different way. Some people just say that millennials have spread their identity online, and they have only one identity. They're fathers, they're sons, they're daughters, they're students, they are workers, but they mix the whole thing. Some other people, this would be here. Some other people say, no. During the morning, I'm a worker. During the night, I'm a husband. And after that, or maybe the other way around, I'm a father. And in the night, I'm a husband. The strategies underneath that are very different. If you take identity as a whole or as fractioned, your reaction to that necessarily is different. How many of you, despite thinking or stating that you are in the know part, think that video lecturing or synchronous chats or synchronous forum or quasi-synchronous forums like Twitter, for instance, which is quite almost synchronous, is still a good option? So video conferences?
Yeah, I positioned myself I think for that one, because I would say it's not necessary all the time. I wouldn't be in charge of a distance learning department if I believed that synchronous and presence was absolutely necessary for learning, and I'm experiencing that as a student, as a distance learning PhD student as well. The synchronous moments are very useful and necessary. It all depends on the way the learning is designed.
And I feel from the beginning that we are talking too generously. So we are talking about open education and we are talking about universities. This is completely different. Education and universities are different, and please do not mix them.
Can someone please say why they sit here? On yes, open, but only one identity at a time. Please.
We have this feeling of strong sense of community, but also we want to be treated as individuals. So we want to participate for a community, but we want to develop ourselves this sense of belonging to something, not letting education system to bring us into another community. So it's kind of an individual choice. That's why I put myself into that that corner. Yes.
I think the big question here is knowledge itself. How do we get knowledge? Do we still need teachers? Do we still need textbooks? Or can we go elsewhere for it?
All the millennials, the natives, whatever you call them, they know how to download music and how to play complicated games and how to do perfect, wonderful things in the computer, with the computer. But they do not know, most of them, the novices, do not know how to study with the technology. And my son, who is 29 years old, for example, when I have a problem with the computer, he will rescue me because he knows how to. But when he needs to look for something and find something, so it's my help. That how did you find this article? How did you find this term? And so on. So I think especially for undergraduate students and for novices, teaching is a prerequisite, a most important issue, and it's really downplayed in most of the articles and research done on e-learning.
What is really the role of the universities for the 21st century in this unbundling, opening up education?
For me, being a university professor means I have some knowledge, from my time studying. I also have the responsibility to try and impart some of that knowledge to my students. But on top of that, I know my students will come in with knowledge of their own. That knowledge might not be the same knowledge as mine, and therefore I put myself in a position where I can be a co-learner with them. This is the new type of pedagogy that I think that's emerging. It's not just about teaching or learning anymore, it's about the conjoining of the two, the praxis element, the pedagogy as we call it. And for me, the role of the university will not change. I don't think universities will ever go away, regardless of the amount of technology we throw at things like MOOCs, because I think that people will always want to be in a social space and learning at a particular level with good scaffolding from a professional, from an expert. And this is why my students, even though we web streamed, came into the lecture hall every time without fail, if they could. So for me, the university, although traditional elements need to be changed, some of them, I think we can still have universities well into the future, because they will always be needed. That's my honest take, regardless of all my posturing and all my devil's advocate stuff that's been going on.
I went to college in the 90s, and I was in this culture of high qualification when my parents told me, you need to go to the college, you need to get a degree, you need to get a master, you get to know languages, foreign languages, you get to know a lot of academic background in order to get a job. What happened to this generation in Spain specifically is that we were going to interviews and they said that we were overqualified.
I was one of the 4 guys on the top right, and when he mentioned the big data issue, this is to me one of the examples in which, you know, as professor we will never teach big data because it's not in the book yet.
Before there was a lady that said, what do you think is the role of the university? For me, and this is a very personal idea, my role as a teacher is to help the students self-diagnose where they are and where they want to go.
Really, I agree with her. When I put an assignment to my students about, okay, just make the distribution design for this movie, and just you're free to design whatever you want. You can check on your resources, just be good elaborating why are you doing that. They get so pissed at me because they have a lot of choices. They don't have any guide. No, but where can I find a guide? Or no guide. Just you're free to just develop your design. And they get really, yeah, I think they're kind of terrified and kind of lazy too.
Do you know, I think that the biggest problem is that most of the technologies that have emerged in the last, 20 or 30 years have been designed for either entertainment or business. Would you agree? And then it falls to us as educationalists to suddenly think, oh, can we appropriate that and make it, use it for our own ends? And we're trying to take technology that was designed for a different purpose and trying to squeeze it into pedagogy. And there lies part of the problem. Another problem on top of that is the individual teacher trying to come to terms with the new technology and to see how it fits in with their particular teaching style or particular style of delivery. And I think those two problems combined mean that technology becomes a real issue for lots of teachers.
Yep.
I think that you see, the thing is, simplicity breeds individuality. I can give the same simple tool to 5 of my colleagues and they'll all use it in different ways. So it liberates them rather than constrains them. So some forms of standardization at a micro level, I think, are really good. I think standardization at a macro level means that you constrain everyone's behavior.
Thank you for your participation. I hope you enjoyed this time together. I don't know if you both or anyone else has some last things to say. I'm sure the Vice Rector will say something at the end. Nope.
Yes, thank you for having us.
I've enjoyed it as well. I'm sorry I can't stay for the rest of this week. Thank you anyway.
Thank you.